there's this particular thing that PhDs always talk about,
What is that?
and they say that the PhD journey is a transition.
Yes, it is.
Is a transition. And I remember in my first year, they talked about it, and I really was like, I didn't really understand it so much then, but I was thinking. So I remember a senior colleague then told me, don't worry, in your final year, you understand. So I want us to look at it together and actually review and see if have we really gone through those stages,
Well, I'll say yes. Hello, Abby. How are you? Longest time, but not too long.
Hello, Elizabeth. It's good to see you. Oh, I've missed you this
Oh,
1 week that we agreed to stay at home and study and keep in touch online. Have you been
that's good.
faithful?
Yes, I have been. I have been. My God, it's just like, transitioning to hybrid learning, right?
Yeah.
How do you find it?
It's okay. We've been connected, haven't we? It's just the only
Yes,
difference
we
is that
have
this
been.
this week we decided to study from home, but we've always
Mm-hmm.
stayed connected on Microsoft Teams. So
Yes, you're right.
and we've been checking, our progress. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not bad.
It's been all right, right?
It's been all right. Yeah, it's been all right. A little bit
That's
different
good.
from, in person that we're both in the same study room, looking at each other, encouraging
The
each other, telling
same
each other, no,
starter.
go, no, it's not a break time, go back to it. But, well, I think it's been all right. The only difference is, okay, we're in different locations, but connected online and, still supporting each other. It's been all right. How did you find it?
Okay. Oh, I find it really interesting, although some of the times when I need to make some jokes with Abby and Abby is not near me, I'll be like, oh, we'll talk about it later when I see her, or maybe when I call her. It's been actually nice experience. Pandemic made everybody to go online this last 2 years, so
Yeah,
we've actually incorporating that in our own weeks of counting down to our Viva weeks, and it's been wonderful. Generally, it's been
it's
wonderful.
been wonderful. And I also think that studying remotely, but also monitoring ourselves online has kind of helped
Mhm.
us to be faithful because it's so easy to drift away. I know a couple of times I
Yeah, it
slipped
is.
away to the kitchen. I did. Confession,
Not just only you.
confession
Not just
time.
only you.
So you did also.
Yes, I did. I used to go
I
get
know. So
some water,
yeah, get water,
get
get a
food.
drink, toilet. Yeah, but it's been all right. I've made tremendous progress, really.
Likewise, me.
Uh, that's brilliant. So, are we touching wood for ourselves?
Yes, we are. Fingers crossed. Touch wood.
Yeah, all right. So, there's this particular thing that PhDs always talk about,
What is that?
and they say that the PhD journey is a transition.
Yes, it is.
Is a transition. And I remember in my first year, they talked about it, and I really was like, I didn't really understand it so much then, but I was thinking. So I remember a senior colleague then told me, don't worry, in your final year, you understand. So I want us to look at it together and actually review and see if have we really gone through those stages? You know, um,
Well, I'll
during
say
the
yes, because in our year one, they'll always tell us we're in our honeymoon period. And, while I was in year one during that time, I didn't actually I didn't actually kind of quite understand what they meant by honeymoon period.
mm,
So after that year, I was like, okay, we started. A lot of things changed in our research, and after the upgrade and all those things, coming into year two really kind of should give our research work a different look.
mm.
And we were like, oh my God, is this it? So now I'm actually starting the PhD, not even in year
PhD.
one. The
Yeah.
topic really changed. A lot of things changed from the way we presented our proposals in year one and all those things. Coming into year three, when you go to collect your data from the field, you see that a lot of things is also changing again. Maybe your your statistical package you want to use to analyze your work, you'll be like, oh my God, which one is the best one for this research? I would say it has actually changed coming to the final year. A lot has really changed. Like me, my topic has really changed a couple of times.
Mm,
And along the way, I had to, because I first of all started with a longitudinal study, research study. But now
mm,
I tailored it down to cross sectional because I couldn't cope with all the longitudinal studies stress. I had to kind of change it because if I continue with that method, it will really not help me finish on time. It will delay me and all those things. So
mm,
I kind of seek advice from my senior colleagues as well, and they gave me the best suggestions. I
mm.
had to now present it to my supervisors, which they actually approved and accepted. I think a lot has really changed. Looking up from that research program,
I guess so.
that featured, I would say that is truly a good idea of how a PhD student should look in their final year.
So,
Because when you came in the first year, you'll be more relaxed, feeling pompous, wearing your suit, sitting down as if you're in a business office. Year two, you remove your jacket. The next thing, you remove your shirt. And your final year, your clothes has been ripped off. Give me an example of it. I can say yes. That's it.
so do you agree with this that we've been through these stages?
Yes, I 100% agree because it's not easy.
You know, when I look at it again and I'm like, oh my God, this is really, really true, It
Yeah.
is largely true.
Yes.
Because truly in your year one, you're just full of, energy. You're just like that with your shoulders high all over the
Mm-hmm.
place, like, oh God, I'm a PhD student. You're happy to introduce yourself to everybody, even those that are not asking you, oh yeah, I'm a PhD student. Oh yeah, I'm studying a PhD. Oh yeah, all over the place. And then there's also this feeling, isn't it, that you'll be like, when you come across master students, you feel like, oh yeah, we're
Who
PhDs.
wants that? Who wants that?
Oh God, this is so funny. And then in year one, really, like in my own year one, I didn't really. Okay, I think I was still trying to find my feet, you know, uh, trying to refine my research topic, trying to
Mhm.
figure out what my research in terms of what I really want to do, how I really want to go about doing it. You know, I was still trying to um, get let me use the word framework. I was still trying to get the framework very well in my year one. And then I know I used a lot of support from my supervisors because, you know, And then I just know, yeah, I'm going to do a PhD. I know I'm going to do a research. Fine, I had the experience from masters, but it's not the same. Is it the same? It's
It's
not.
not. It's never the same.
And,
PhD is much more intense, so
right.
it is on
But at that
different.
stage, you wouldn't know because you're like, oh, of course, I did dissertation in my master's. Yeah, and this
You'll be
is
feeling so
I
big.
have that. You be feeling. Of course, I've got the experience. I've got the research experience. Da, 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 da. Then you don't even know what you are going into.
No.
No. And then year two. I think year two you'll be more humbled because by
Yes.
pass through the fire of annual review.
And also literature review will humble you.
Literature review will humble you. But I think what will humble you more is the annual review because it's at that point that it is even decided if you're moving forward in your PhD or you're going back. So that's first year annual review is very, very important, right?
Yes.
Quite important, yeah. It's quite important. Well, you don't get to know at the start of the year, but somewhere along the line, I think after the 6th month review, and then they start telling you that you have an annual review, and then you start understanding the importance of the annual review, where you're expected to present your chapters. I think is it 1, 2, 3 or 1 and 2?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, right?
Rough work of 1, 2, 3, yes.
Rough work here. So draft of 1, 2, 3. And then you're expected to like show them, prove to them that yes, you are really ready for the research. That you already understand what you want to do and how you want to do it. Oh my God.
I must commend my supervisors as well because my supervisors was just like my saving grace because along the line you had so much questions to ask like me. It got to a point like especially my analysis chapter, my chapter 3, after I went home to collect my data and came back, I was stuck. You know why?
Why?
I didn't even know how to screen my data from missing data. I
Hmm.
didn't even know which analytical formula to use to get what I want from my data. I had to consult my supervisors, consult my able colleagues who are way higher than me, who knows the analysis better than I do. They gave me their support. If not for them and for my supervisor, I wonder what would have been my fate now. I wouldn't have think that I would come to this final stage of preparing for Fiverr. It was really an interesting thing and it was really humbling because if you don't bring yourself down, PhD will bring you down like that man sitting on the floor.
On the floor. Look at him from first year, full of energy, and you can see the pride, that thing, that shoulder.
The smile.
Look at the smile, look at the hair, look at everything. Oh, and then look at the final year. Oh my
Jesus.
God. He seemed to have even grown lean, kind of. He hasn't been eating well.
Yes. I mean, you cry.
Does that happen to PhDs in their final year? Come on, Elizabeth.
It does. At least it happened to me. I cried during my own fourth year. I cried and I was like, God, you know the best. You started this journey for me. And I know that I strongly believe in you that I'm going to come out strong.
Yeah.
And even both challenges that I could mention or the ones I couldn't even mention, I was able to get to this stage. I would say I give all the glory to God and to my supervisors and also my parents who are also sponsoring my academics. I must say they really tried. They really tried. And kudos to me too during it.
Of course, yeah. Come on. We deserve some claps, don't we?
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, it's not easy really. When I look at it again and I'm like, oh my God. And it appears that every stage has its own peculiar challenges. First year,
Definitely.
the second year, third year, final year, different challenges.
Mm.
But I think the
Yeah.
higher you go, this is not the cooler it becomes, the hotter. Because if it was cool then,
The young man sitting on the floor will be sitting on the
okay, so now let's look at it this way. So what are
floor.
those peculiar challenges that we can identify with each stage of the PhD, like in the first year, second year, third year, fourth year? Things people should know that can help them. Okay, so if I go for the first year, I would say in the first year, it's just natural that you are so excited, you're full of
Yeah.
energy, you're all over the place. You just find yourself all over the place. You want to tell the world that, oh, I'm a PhD student. Oh, I'm studying, oh, I'm a researcher. Oh, this, oh, that. It's natural. You just all over the
Yeah.
place. That is one. Then two, in the first year, most people don't have a grip of what they really want to do.
Yes.
Yes, you want to research. Yeah, I'm doing a PhD. But if you have a chat with 70% at that stage, they don't even know how they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They just know, yeah, I want to do a research. Even the topic, you are not really so sure. You still keep revising and, reviewing, revising, looking at it from different perspective. Okay, if I do it this way, do I do it that? You know, so you are still trying to find your feet. You're still trying to develop a kind of framework, right?
Yeah.
The foundation for your PhD. So that first year is the gragra year. Year,
I call it
gragra,
the
jumpy,
honeymoon
jumpy,
period.
the
Yes.
honeymoon period.
Yeah.
But
Well, like,
at the end of the first year, do you think the honeymoon ends? Because annual review shakes people a lot. Because at that
yes.
point, that is when you know whether you're actually progressing and going forward or you're dropping off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I also understand that the annual review will help them to decide that, oh, now you are really ready to, ready for a PhD. So it's
Mm-mm.
more like even your first year, you're not really sure yet,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yes.
It's not really so sure. Like, all right, you're having that PhD or you're already a PhD student. It's more like
No.
what do we call it now? Because if you don't pass the annual review, you might not progress. So there might be opportunities for you to
You just end up having an MPhil.
MPhil, right?
Yeah. Well, in that year one, like during my own upgrade and annual review, like you said, that time the proposal I started off with wasn't what I ended up going forward with to my fourth year. I had a proposal designed to study a PhD. Yeah, I was full of life, enjoying it. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. So after the annual review, I was shaken by the questions and the things they told me to remove from the proposal work and everything that I need to do this. They'll ask you, how do you measure this? How do you measure this? I haven't really actually thought about all those things at that stage. But the feedback I got from my assessors and my supervisors really kept me going to the final year because um I had to like move on, remove the bits and pieces that wasn't needed, fine-tuned my work, change the topic even safe at that stage. You can imagine changing
Wow.
the topic. It's not actually the previous topic you started with that I ended up with at the moment. No, it's not it. But in second year, second year will really overwhelm you with lots of reading because you have to do your literature review. That literature review, sometimes you might not even know where to find them from. You'll
Mm.
be like, where am I going to? Is it in Google? Is it Google Scholar? Is it ResearchGate? Is it where? But as you do some training scheme models that will
Yeah.
equip and guide you on how to do your PhD, you get to learn so many things. You get to know that yes, there is this one you can do. You can find your literature review from Science Direct, from Google Scholar, from this one, from that
Mhm.
one, and
Academia,
then yes,
ResearchGate.
academia, ResearchGate, and all those things.
Mm.
Then it will also give you a guide on how to go about it. But telling you that finding sourcing for literature review journals, articles, it's not really easy, especially if you're a novice that doesn't even know which particular area to dive in to check which is knowledge, because you're not even allowed to search anything in Google because Google will give you lots of rubbish, both
Lots
the
of
one, the
rubbish,
good,
yeah.
the bad, and the ugly. You'll see it in Google, but they will tell you don't get any article from Google. So now you're now left with Google
Yeah,
Scholar.
but they could use Google Scholar. Google Scholar is
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yes, they could use Google Scholar for that.
Yeah.
So I must say, year two is really an experience on its own.
Another thing, another challenge in year two is at that point, okay, like you rightly said, all the challenges of even knowing exactly where you're sourcing your literatures
Articles
from,
from.
it's it's challenging on its own. And then
Mm-hmm.
when eventually you're able to get the right articles or literature papers, whatever you want. Oh, Elizabeth, reading up the articles. I remember in
It's
my year
something
two,
else.
I got quite a lot. Oh, I just kept downloading and downloading and downloading. At some point, I had like, it was getting close to 100 and I had not started reading yet. So
Same as
I
me.
just put them in a folder and I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? Where do I start? Now, you don't even, you know, it was overwhelming. Because,
Yeah.
so I have to read all these articles, and even more, not just that, more,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
And
even though
also do your training courses as well.
I'm doing your
Training
training for
research.
the PG,
TS here.
yes,
Postgraduate training scheme courses.
courses, yeah. So yeah, oh, now I see where the pressure starts setting in. Oh,
Yes.
and that's perhaps why the man took off his jacket in year two. He was already feeling the heat.
The heat
Is
was
it?
much.
Is he feeling the heat from the postgraduate training modules, or is the heat from from reading articles? Because he
From
has not
sorting
started
the
writing. At this
articles.
stage, you've not even started writing.
No, he is not. He's just busy
So
playing around with the articles.
so where so where's the heat coming from the
From
articles?
everything.
From everything.
Yeah.
And then so let's move to the third year. What happened? What happened in the third year? Because this guy had, the heat has gone so.
In the third year, he at the end of year two, he must already be planning to go collect his data collection.
All right.
So in year three, he has already gotten the approval, the ethical approval to go to the field
You're
and
right.
get the data, the necessary data he needed for the research work. So now he will be battling with the methodology chapter, how to kind of do it, and he will be thinking of the chapter 4, and which is also the analysis chapter. So this is what he will be thinking about in this year three. So again, he will be like, "Oh yes, I'm going to Nigeria. Like me, I went to Nigeria to collect my research, my data. I did some survey because I'm a quantitative researcher while you're qualitative, right?
Yeah, I'm qualitative. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went home. I gathered all my data from road transport companies in Nigeria, three of them. So from five of them anyway. So I gathered that, came back. Okay, Elizabeth, code your data. How will you code it? I was really looking at I'm looking at my system, looking at the volume of survey questionnaires that I sampled. I'm like, how do I code it? How do I know the keys to analyze the answers of the distance, to know which particular one represents what I'm saying in my questionnaire? That's another hustle for me. I had to learn, look at statistical textbooks, check online, check, go to YouTube, research for that, ask my senior colleagues. They were the ones that told me this, Elizabeth, this is how you code it. You have to get a scoring key. I have to even email the authors of the questions. Like I used already made questionnaires like from which the authors have already developed. I
Right.
used it in my own research. So I have to even email the co-author, like the authors direct and be like, please, can you give me the scoring kit for the questionnaires? And I was so glad that they responded to me without even knowing me, because when you have this university of all email address, it helps you reach out to different authors.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So they gave me the scoring key. Even at the point I had to buy some online. So I bought it, and with the ones that some of the authors, the key authors gave me, I looked at it. I was like, okay, thank goodness. I'm now having a starting point where to start from. So I started from there. I had to code my questionnaires. I had to put them in a cell, from a cell, transfer it to SPSS. Oh gosh, it wasn't easy. But this, I had to learn. I was sweating like one Christmas goat. I had to cry because at the point I was like, I don't know how to do this. Or who will you ask? Everybody is busy with their own research work.
Yes.
So nobody will leave their research and come and be teaching you how to do your own analysis. So at a point, I was I was really grateful to some great friends of mine. You might know some of them. While I used to walk around and be like, please, who knows how to do this analysis? Who knows how to do this? I'll ask my colleagues and they will help me out. Well, it's really, well, I say that was the height of it, the beginning of the research for me, because that analysis really, it showed me, well, I say it showed me Pepe. Yes, it really showed me Pepe.
So now what you're saying is year three, you've it's more heat on
Yeah, more,
PGTS. Perhaps you're
yes,
still doing PGTS, so you've got the heat
yeah,
coming from PGTS, postgraduate training schemes.
scheme, yeah,
You've got the heat from
and now
maybe
getting the
field
data,
work or getting the
yeah,
data and then even knowing what to do with the data analysis, like you rightly
yeah,
said.
yeah,
Yeah. So and then the heat from
coding, coding
coding
it
and
into
all
the
that.
Excel and also trying
It
to run the
gets
analysis.
yeah. So it gets the higher you go, the hotter it becomes. Now I understand why
Yes.
he had to take off his shirt. And look at it. He kind of looks a bit unkept at this stage. Is it that
He doesn't even have any shoe.
his feet was he was sweating. Sweating. The
Yeah,
feet. He took off his shoes. Oh my god, this is crazy.
it says.
And then
He couldn't withstand the heat.
couldn't withstand the heat. It was getting at this stage. Do you think you'll be able to even talk like those initial gra gra? I'm a PhD. I'm a PhD.
No, you don't even have the time. You
He
begin the
appears
looking
to have
for.
been humbled by a lot here.
That's true.
Oh my God, this is really interesting. Okay,
It
so
is.
so what happened? Because I can see the final year. Oh, wait a minute, Elizabeth. Are you
Yeah.
observing what I'm seeing? This guy has moved. Look, he had an executive chair in first year.
Yes, so.
He he moved from that chair and he was he had to sit up. You see that year too. You can see he's sitting up.
Yeah.
Year one, he was relaxed, executive with his back and all that. But year two, hey, look at his back quite straight. Year two, he had to sit up. And year three, the chair has even changed. More rickety.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look balanced. Oh my God. So what
And
now
the
happened in
final.
year four? The guy has,
Final year is just like wrapping up everything that you've been doing from the first year to the present.
yeah.
And he must have been like, yeah, I finished doing all the analysis, the discussion chapter. Now is just to write up.
And that's a lot,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You have to go through your work, make sure that you're meeting the research objective or the goals of your research that you started with in the first place.
Yeah.
You have to check your hypothesis, make sure that you met all the hypotheses, like the hypothesis is
Or
being
maybe the
all
research
of them.
questions, if it's qualitative.
Yes. And all this while, he couldn't fathom sitting on a chair. He said, no,
I think
this
it
is
happened
too.
to me at some point because you get to some stages, you don't even know which position is comfortable. I've
Yes.
been in that situation that I had to sit on. I would just sit on the floor. I even laid on the floor at some point.
Even me too. Even me too.
With books all over the place. Oh my God.
Yeah, you'll be checking this one, checking that one, trying to make sure
Sometimes
that the
I
research
remember
gap.
there were times I had to work with like maybe 3 laptops, checking this one here, checking that one here, writing with the third one, books all over the place, I'm on the floor, I'm all over the place, I'm on the bed, I'm on the chair. Oh, it is
It's not
true.
easy.
It's not easy because, I used to think before I got to my final year, I used to think that writing up was just child's play, just to put it together.
It's not.
It's not, it's a lot because you revisit your literature review and try to make a connection between your literature review and your findings. And it's a
Methodology
lot.
and finance, yes.
It's a lot.
And also the
Indeed.
gap, the research gap that you're addressing. Because finding a research gap is not easy.
Yeah.
You might think it's just you read an article, you get one from me. It's not really easy. You have to search and search, make sure that no other person has addressed what you're trying to address. It's not really easy, I must say, but thank goodness we survived it.
We have survived it all. We've been through all these stages, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
So we're getting to the stage where we're getting up from the floor. That young man is getting up and we're moving back to the executive seat, aren't we?
Yes, we are, by God's grace.
By God's grace. Oh, Elisa, it's been really, really fun. It's so good. I'm happy to see you. You look well.
And yet,
yeah. So this has been a good experience. Study online this week 4. But week 5, definitely we're going back to in person. So we'll be catching up in our study room in week 5. All right, Elizabeth. It's been nice talking to you today.
Same here, darling Abby.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you in week 5.
I can't wait to see you in week 5. It's just 2 days away and then we're together again.
Yes.
All right, darling. You take care and we'll catch up very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.